Hi there, this is Hofflifa, and we're digging into another episode of Should You Pull. The banner is going to include Garland with his LT and rework, as well as Law and Sephiroth returning. I believe all of them are getting their character boards, so I'm anxious as heck to, get Sephiroth's character board, because he's like one of my favorites. He's actually my all-time favorite villain. So alright, without further ado, let's get into the action. Alright, what made Garland so unique, when he first came around to introduce the Chaos era, is that he had a special feature back in the late enemies, and yeah, at the time I believe only Priestess and Shola had that ability. Not a lot of characters had that, but with pros also come cons as well. Some of the really bad stuff that came with him is he had a lot of flaws, and if you didn't watch what you were doing, you could easily burn through his skills rapidly, and his delays were you had to pay attention to what you were doing, because his Souls of Chaos buff came about, and you only got her for 2 turns, but it only triggered when you activated when you used a skill while breaking them. And yeah, a lot of that stuff was fixed. His EX in particular was and for the most part, because if you didn't have any Brave stored up and used it, let's just say it maybe 1/4 of your max Brave, it wasn't going to do nothing, and it was just a headache to watch him. Because I like the graphics, the CG for it, but yeah, if looks can be deceiving, then yeah, he would just insta kill everybody. But his LD has a new special ability for him. It's, from my understanding, it's kind of similar to Sephiroth's ability, his Nova buff, in the sense of it's activated for 8 turns, and it slows the enemies and it lowers their defense, I believe. And if you stack him as well as Sephiroth together, yeah, you can cause some havoc. Support never hurt anybody. But what I mean is, Steve, for example, alright, he is at 1/3 of his max Brave, right? 13 and some change, okay? Alright, now look at this as opposed to where we are right now in Chaos. Alright, 15, 14, alright. Do you see the outcome of that one? Yeah, them are high numbers. High numbers, and you don't know what you're talking about, blah blah. But as opposed to other people, shoot, Orange just got his rework, and yeah, I dare say that guy can do way more damage than Garland right now. And Garland has EX plus for Analyst. But all in all, they managed to fix him. Yeah, his LD is a 100% AOE, single target HP attack, and it has 50% splash damage, which, yeah, that's not bad, because his main component was, in order for his functionality to work, you had to pop a skill in. Yeah, like I was saying, if you didn't watch what you're doing, you burnt through the skills quick fast. You look down and you could have 2 skills worth of battle, and if you didn't pay attention, you were down to 2 or 3. Do I think that you should pull for this banner? Honestly, not, because you know we have Amy around the corner, Vaughn, Gavin, Ultimisha. So I mean, them are a lot of people that are, you know, like close to getting their rework per se, rework and LDs and bursts. So I mean, yeah, I mean, it seems like, you know, he's a hard hitting guy, but keep in mind, you know, there are a lot of like more powerful units that are coming around. And like for the chaos fight, like it's colorless queen, and she's more or less a rip-off Ultima of the High Seraph. Like there's times you're not going to be able to summon, and then she inflicts like some god-awful debuffs like paralyze, poison. It's been a while, so I mean, I think her range of like debuffs, like there's no limit. Like she can throw one random on you, like petrify, I believe might be one of them. So it's just something to consider. But I mean, main focus is if you have like Garland and Sephiroth, you know, two of the synergy characters in your party as well, I mean, you should do relatively fine. You shouldn't have any trouble like you know, completing it. But if you didn't have, you know, like Garland or Sephiroth, like you know, kitted, then maybe you should consider like Sash with another unit, like maybe Queestis. I have Aerith with her, you know, like curse of passives, and she's got max boards, and yeah, she hits like a freaking truck. The only thing is though, with pros and cons, to each their own. However, I'd recommend the Alexander summon, because the Alexander summon, like it has like HP like regen, which it's fine now because you can take several damage dealers into a chaos fight, and you don't have to have, you know, over the top healing or brave or bravery support to, you know, like be effective. That how it works is when your HP gets, I think it's either below 80% or 70% or something like that, it'll trigger for 10 turns. So just keep in mind that, you know, try not to get broken before, you know, the main fight. Try to not take as much damage, because as soon as you hit that 80 or like 70 or 80%, it's going to trigger. So, but the only thing is though, like there's no overflow hardly. I mean, you have overflow from, you know, the character kits, but yeah, the Alexander in general is made for like healing regeneration, and it's rather stingy as far as like overflow gains. So just keep that in mind too. Wall should do relatively great here, and if you have them kitted, I'm actually looking forward to like character boards coming. I'm actually looking forward to, you know, like Wall and whatnot. His LD. I really want to pull for Gavrance as well. Gavrance's EX Plus is coming. That's all we're getting. 1535 and EX Plus. Well, it means HG on her as well with this next story. But if you wanted to, you know, burn maybe between 50 to 100 tickets to, you know, just like try your luck on it, a decent shot at like pulling for Garland's LD, that's respectable. I mean, you could live with that. But as far as, you know, burning all your gems and whatnot, yeah, I'd just say like save that for another time, because there's a whole crap load of units that are out there that are, I mean, are coming up that are going to be really powerful, like the ones I was saying earlier. Amy, Gavrance, Van, and Ultimisha. So this has been a video of should you pull for Garland's LC, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.